All right, welcome back to the Gym Profit Podcast. Today, Josh, we're going to be talking about reverse engineering your marketing strategy. So this is something where I think a lot of gym owners just kind of throw money at Facebook or hire agencies or just kind of like guess when it comes to their marketing. And one of the reasons I'm excited to talk to you about this is when we opened your gym, you came to us and you said, I need to do this. Like, because you had this previous understanding of like, this is the way that I'm going to grow the business. I mean, without this process in place, who knows where you would be, but you would not be approaching a seven-figure facility, opening an additional space like you are right now. So first, I just want to get your thoughts on like, how did you think about paid marketing? How did you think about when you open the doors, like day one, cool, I'm going to advertise? Because I think a lot of people just miss it. And then I want to get into reverse engineering, like the actual numbers. Like, what should your strategy actually look like?
Yeah, I think the thing about paid ads is there's definitely some people out there that would say like, oh, start with referrals only and, you'll grow that way. And yeah, I mean, if you want to take like 10 years to grow your business to like 5 people, you could certainly do that. It's essentially just what are your goals? How long do you want to take to get the gym to that place? And if you could essentially put together a system where more or less you guarantee that for every dollar in, depending on your model, every dollar in is a dollar, two, three, five, $10 out, you know, somebody in Vegas would take those odds all day, right? So it's really just a matter of what are our goals? And for me, it's, it was filling the gym and how can I do that most efficiently? And we still work on getting referrals, but it's not a guarantee. And I think there's maybe, it depends on the area or the gym or the location itself and how visible your space is or things like that. But if referrals aren't like a guaranteed every single week constant flow, you're going to plateau hard. And then you're going to start to have attrition come in and you're going to lose half your members. So you need to have some sort of rocket ship system in place to be able, if you choose, to put some money behind some real growth.
Yeah, 100%. And if you don't do this, if you don't figure it out, I mean, we have plenty of gyms that come to us and they've gotten to 20K, 30K, some even beyond that, without running a single piece of advertising. Now, our argument to them was you would have moved a lot faster if you had figured this out early on, right? For sure. I mean, you're at, approaching a seven-figure run rate here 3-4 years in at this point, right? Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy quick. I mean, there's gym owners that we talk to that have been doing this for 10 years and they're still at 10, 20K. So it's like at a certain point, and we recommend that point is immediately, you have to figure this out.
Yeah. It comes down to like an interesting fear that we often see with gym owners of like, there's so many other places that we don't see like the fear of investing into something play out. But for some reason, it's like, when we're talking about putting money into advertising, it's this like massively scary thing. Even if it means that if you don't have the cash flow to support, $1,000 in ad spend, I mean, there's probably some other areas of your business we can clean up as well. But even if you didn't, like, why is it such a bad thing to like get a business credit card or use the one you already have, have a runway of some cash? We've got gym owners that take loans out to start their business, right? And there's nothing wrong with, using funds. There's no special reward for like growing your business by your bootstraps and like blood, sweat, and tears. Like there's no glory in that. Stop beating yourself to death with like nonsense. I don't know if it's social media or what, but like if there's a system that could make it easier and more efficient, like why not do that from the start? Like we have gym owners that are under 10K in revenue, even under 8, 7, 6K revenue. And they can come in, and the way that we do ads for them is a little different because it's a bit of a slower and a start, right? We're not going to do the same thing for them as we do with somebody with 50K in revenue per month. But they can easily double in like 5 minutes. They can easily just like double their revenue in like 5 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden now we have 10 more members at $500 a month, and okay, now we've grown MRR by 5K.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And I think what it comes down to, like you're saying all this, like what's the thought process? Why are we not just getting a credit card? Why are we not just investing in doing this and growing the business quickly rather than slowly, predictably rather than unpredictably? And I think the real reason is it comes back to just uncertainty. Like, is this going to work? Am I going to rack up credit card debt? Because the reality is, if you knew it was going to work, you would do it, right? And so I want to get into today a little bit of the numbers because things have shifted over the years. When I owned my gym, if I wasn't getting like a 2-3x return on front end ad spend, meaning I'm spending like $200 and I'm getting someone to pay $600 on that $200 spend, if I wasn't doing that, I thought I was losing. And what I realized was I was just spoiled. Like this was like the heyday of Facebook ads. Things were cheaper. But really the way we need to be thinking about this is your marketing system growing your membership and allowing you to have net new members every single month so that you're growing monthly recurring revenue and you're building the business? And so one of the main metrics that we look at now is this relationship of lifetime value to customer acquisition costs, so LTV to CAC. And on the low end, I mean, you should be at like a 3-to-1. Now, the way that this looks in real numbers, like let's just say you're a group facility and you charge $200 a month, right? Let's say on average you keep people for 12 months. Okay, so your LTV is $2,400 on average. Okay, well, even with just a 3-to-1 LTV to CAC ratio, you're looking at what's 24 divided by 3? $600 to acquire a customer. Now, Josh, we see large group facilities that are getting members in for $200 a month. We'll acquire them for like $100 to $150, depending on the offer, depending on the market, maybe $200, but it's absolutely below that $600 mark.
Yeah.
And so what people don't understand is they see the money go out. They see the money go to Facebook. But if they knew the numbers, if they knew a 3-to-1 ratio of lifetime value to CAC was going to grow the business over time, they would do it. But they get so tunnel visioned on the money leaving their account that they're like, oh, this isn't working. But if you knew that this was going to grow the business and take you from 10K, 20K to 40K, 50K inside of a year, you wouldn't be focused on the 1,000, 2,000, whatever your ad spend is, because you know it's coming back. So this is where things come in like credit cards. I mean, when you launch your business, you put it on a credit card because you knew, cool, I'm going to acquire customers for $400 or $500, but they're going to pay me $500, $600 a month in your small group model for 18 months. We'll take that all day. Yeah. So it's restricted cash flow in the short term, massive business growth in the long term.
Because remember, like, I think a lot of, for some reason, and maybe it's because of like instant gratification and these types of things that have become more of a problem, you know, social media, as we're posting this to social media. But people are business owners especially are in this mindset of like the instant gratification or the short term. And what ends up happening is we lose sight of lifetime value as an actual metric, but the long term. We have to remember that, you know, this isn't a product sale where, you know, you make 10 sales at $200 in the first month, and that means, oh, I only make $2,000, you know, this month, and then next month, same thing, 10 sales. No, and this might sound stupid if you're like, no, of course, like there's memberships, but we have these conversations constantly with gym owners where, okay, so 200, so let's call it 10 new members, right? In like a group fitness offer, something like that, 10 new members, month one. Okay, so you're also going to bring in 10 new members the second month, and then let's call it, depending on what they sign up for, 8 or 9 of them continuing on, ideally 9 plus of the first 10. So actually now it's 10 the first month. Now we have 19 the second month. We have 28 the third month. So again, it's exponential growth. as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to like a one-time thing, right? This isn't a we're not selling, an individual program, right? And even if you are on the front end, it's leading into a membership. Like that's the membership model. We aren't doing a one-off service. So they're just like erase that from your mind that would even be a concern. When somebody signs up for your membership, of course things happen. But like for me, if somebody signs up for a monthly membership or build weekly, whatever it is, for 52 weeks, and that's $150 per week, right? What is that math? Let's do the math here. That's $7,800 over the year. And I can do the math of like, okay, if it's like 95% retention, right, then we can kind of like minus out some of that. But again, we have to start thinking like that. You don't see that up front, and I get that. You don't see that $8,000 up front in your bank account unless they prepay. And that's tough for cash flow, especially when you're bootstrapping it at the beginning. But we have to remember, right? And maybe there's some ways to cover your initial losses, right? Like we talked about with borrowing some money, things like that. But even still, long-term thinking is going to actually get you those long-term results of like doubling your revenue, as opposed to just kind of like circling around the same old thing, wondering why you're not growing. Well, it's because you're not putting enough fuel in the fire.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So let's talk about like different models, right? Now, obviously, a small group facility charging $500 a month with 100 members, they're going to need to reverse engineer their marketing numbers differently than a large group facility with 400 members. We have this conversation quite a bit where, owners that are doing fairly well come to us and they're like, why are we stuck? And they don't reverse engineer the numbers. So let's just take a large group facility. You have 400 members. Let's just say your attrition is phenomenal in a large group model. Let's say it's 5%. So 400 members, 5% attrition. You are losing 20 members a month, and that is unbelievable. That's like super good at that level. And so we actually do get gym owners that have 300, 400, or 500 members, and they're spending $1,000 a month on ads or something small like that because they haven't reverse engineered the numbers. Well, if we know a good month we're going to lose 20 members, we need to understand what it costs us to get a customer, and we need to multiply that by 30 so that we can outpace attrition. And that is what you have to spend in order to grow. Otherwise, you're just wasting money and you're just circling around the same membership number month over month, if not moving in the wrong direction, right? And so that's an example of large group. Small group, this is much more. We work with a ton of small group facilities, mainly because we like them and it's the better model. But small group facilities, you have 100 members, right? You are doing really well. You're charging $300, $400, $500 a month, depending. Let's say your attrition is 3%. Okay, you're losing 3 members. We just need to get you like 6 or 7, right? That's it. And so same thing. What's your lifetime value? What can you afford to spend to acquire a customer, taking that ratio of 3 to 1 on the low end, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 10 to 1 on the high end. But what can we afford to spend to get a customer? And then multiply that by 6, right? And that's what we need to fuel the system in order to outpace attrition. And so a lot of people get stuck because they say, I have $1,000 a month for my marketing budget. That is the wrong way to think about it. In fact, if you think about it that way, that's what's keeping you stuck. We need to work with the end in mind, know our numbers on customer acquisition cost, lifetime value, and say, how many members do I need this month to outpace attrition?
Yeah, and long term, like what do I need to do to get my gym from 50 members to 100 or whatever the number is? And again, like that's a great point, rather than thinking about, I have $1,000 to spend on marketing this month, or more likely they're like, I have $300 to spend on marketing. Like, great. You should print flyers and put it around your neighborhood. If I'm owning a gym and running a gym that is stuck around, let's call it 20 to 30K a month, because that's a pretty common place to be stuck. If I can jump into a system where if I just put in a total of like 2K in marketing, right? Let's just like pick a higher number, but that's going to get me, across a year, that's going to net me essentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, most likely, depending on the offer. Why wouldn't we do that? Just like seriously, why, if you could right now, in like any other area of your life, if you could take $2,000 and over the course of a year turn it into $200,000, why would you not do that? Like, please write a comment on
Let us
this.
know.
Like, why would you not do that?
Well, I
And don't
think
say that you don't have the money, because you can find the money.
right, 100%.
You can make the money, you can borrow the money, but either way, like what's stopping you from actually growing is your own limiting beliefs around like what marketing can do, or how it should look, or maybe it's like this grind mentality of I'll just do it myself. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, not well. And specifically in this industry, I mean, there's a lot of crap out there. Maybe you've been burned before. Maybe you have tried some stuff and it hasn't worked very well. What I'd encourage you to do is take responsibility for this. So stop outsourcing responsibility. Stop hiring agencies. Stop, trying to find like the quick fix to grow your business. You need to dig in and learn this skill of what does a marketing system actually look like? Because Josh and I talk about this all the time. We'll get into a market and it might be a struggling kind of market initially, but we always go back to it. If we owned a gym in this market, would we figure out how to profitably acquire customers through Facebook? And the answer 100% of the time is yes. And so it's not your market. I don't care if you've been burned before by other companies. If you're stuck, you need to figure this out. You need to figure out a way to profitably acquire customers. We can do it in absolutely any market. Most likely, if you haven't figured it out yet, it's because you haven't tried long enough, hard enough, tested enough things, different offers, different ad creative, different strategies. And so that's what we're here to do. Josh, unless you have anything else, I'd love to direct people to where they can find us.
Yeah. Again, if you want to, I mean, I'm just gonna do it.
You do it.
If you want to stop beating your head against the wall and actually want to see the success that you started the business for in the first place, Fitrevconsulting.com, or check the show notes, check the Instagram profile, wherever you're seeing this, because there's a better way than how you're doing it now. If you've been stuck for a week, a month, a year, and you've tried referrals and that's not getting you the growth, right? There's no denying that like you absolutely should have referrals. But if there's not the growth that you need, let's get together and talk about what we can do, creating a marketing ecosystem around your business, customized to you, your branding, what you guys do, because I know that you do it well. That's not the problem. It's getting people to actually see and understand the value of what you do and marketing it in a way that isn't trash. So if you want to market in a way that actually feels good, is aligned, and it just so happens to get you better results than working with some agency that doesn't give a beep about you, let's do it. Fitrevconsulting.com.
Well said. See you guys in the next one.